Stand by, recording in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome to EHCTV. I'm Khalil King.
I'm Luke Montalbano. Khalil, great to be back.
It's great to have you back by my side, man. So Luke, I just got from spring break, and it was kind of awesome in the sense that I went to Savannah, Georgia, but I was at Emory a whole lot, and it's good to be back. It's good to see a lot of people.
Yeah, it's great to be back. I was also down south. I was also in Myrtle Beach with the golf team. It was great to be down, but I'm happy to be back here, man.
Good stuff, good stuff. I'm a senior, as you know, and we have 54 days until graduation, so I'm counting down and trying to make this the best as possible.
Yeah, I still got 1 year left, so I got a bit of time.
Enjoy, man. Living in paradise. Who you have on set today?
I got Brent Treash. She's the assistant men's and women's golf coach. We're going to talk about the program. So who do you have?
I have Samantha Ford, a lead singer of an upcoming band, Undercurrent. So pretty exciting interview.
Yeah.
We will now swing it over to Christina Mitchell with this week's news.
Hello everyone, this is Christina Mitchell with this week's news update. Before we get started, I'd like to welcome everyone back to campus following spring break. Hope everyone had a wonderful time. During spring break, some students from Emory and Henry joined the Appalachian Center for Civic Life to work with the Southeast Rural Community Assistance Project in Bluefield, West Virginia. These students spent 5 days doing building maintenance, children's after-school tutoring, senior care, homeless assistance, and neighborhood beautification. The campus has now made available the past 3 years of report and crime statistics for the Emory and Henry campus. This information is required to be available through the Clery Act and can be found on the college website. For you graduating seniors, Jostens is still selling class rings and graduation announcements. The last chance to order any of these through Jostens is March 21st from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Merc. I'm sure we'll all be joining Khalil in our graduation countdown. Some events coming up on campus include a kayaking clinic for students hosted by the outdoor program. This will be in the Emory and Henry Pool on March 20th at 6:30 p.m. There's also a performing group coming to campus, Nicholas Fan and the Jasper String Quartet. They'll be here on March 22nd, performing at 7:30 p.m. There's also an outdoor program climbing trip coming up on March 23rd, open to all levels of experience. On March 24th, the outdoor program will be holding 2 events. They'll do a hike to the channels as well as a family and friends bouldering day. These are 2 different events, but you can contact the outdoor program at jmeyer@ehc.edu if you're interested in participating. That does it for news this week. Now I'll toss it over to Khalil King for the feature interview.
Hello, I'm Khalil King with this feature interview. Today we are joined with Samantha Ford, lead singer of upcoming band Undercurrents. Samantha, welcome to the set today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So first off, let's talk a little bit about this name, Undercurrents. Where did this come from?
So my friend Kaylin, who's in the band with me, she kind of came up to me and she was like, I've always wanted to have a band with the name Undercurrents. I was like, well, what's the significance of it? Mm-hmm. She was like, well, the definition is kind of like something that is contrary to like popular belief, and that's kind of like how Christians are, kind of contrary to popular belief, but still like part of the wave.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what it means.
That's pretty awesome.
Thanks.
Good. This is pretty interesting, seeing you being a part of the band, seeing you be in college, but also being a commuter. How do you manage this all?
It's very tough. I actually also have 2 part-time jobs, so that's pretty tough. But yeah. I mean, it's manageable, so I make it work.
Yeah. What are your 2 jobs? Just since I know one's PetSmart.
Yeah, I work at PetSmart, and then I also work at the Merc on Mondays and Fridays.
Okay. I would like to say congrats on your new release that you just dropped. Can you talk a little bit about Friday Night?
So how it kind of started was my friend and I, Kaylin, we were just hanging out, and she just started playing this beat, and I was like, okay, I really like this. So I just started just making up words on the spot, and then it just kind of flowed from there. And I pretty much wrote all the words and the melody except for the bridge, and then she did all the musical production, and she wrote the bridge. But that's kind of how it all went down.
Oh, great. So we'll be fortunate enough to hear a little freestyle today.
I don't think so.
Possibly not. Okay, that's fair. So I know that you guys were able to perform in Rhythm and Roots. Can you talk about what that means to you, being local, but also with Rhythm and Roots being such a big thing?
Yeah, it was very shocking that we were able to do that. We actually went through King University to do it, and we kind of performed on the upper part of 620 State, the restaurant. So it really meant a lot that they were able to have us, and it was kind of a last-minute thing. So, yeah.
What was that experience like for you?
Well, it was, I guess, eye-opening in a sense. It was great to be able to be up on stage and perform for people that had never heard us before, and for families and friends that were able to make it.
Cool. Tell me a little bit about where you guys are going in the future. I listened to Friday night a couple of times. I really enjoyed it. And I talked with Kaylin, who wasn't able to make it today, but she told me you guys are not so cookie cutter, and your next song is going to differ in its style compared to Friday night.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We've actually performed it a couple times, the next song that we're trying to release. But it's definitely a different style. It's more upbeat. It's kind of more alternative, kind of like Paramore. But yeah, it's definitely different from Friday night.
Cool deal. It's interesting how you guys are, submerging yourself into already these kind of events such as Rhythm and Roots, and recently, what is it, Wolf Hills?
Yeah.
Competition actually, and you guys were able to place third place. Tell us a little bit about that.
So I have a friend that actually works at Wolf Hills, and she was like, I really want you to come do this open mic night. And I was like, okay. So it was a last-minute decision. It was the last night that they were holding spots to get into the competition. So we went and we sang like 3 or 4 songs, and they loved us. So they were like, okay, we want you to come. You're in the competition. So we were the last act to get into the competition. There was like 7 bands total that made it, and 2 of them actually were our students here. And then we sang, and we were the only female band in the entire show, and they called our names, and we got to sing again, and unfortunately we didn't win, but they won us back. So it was pretty cool. We really enjoyed being able to sing and play for people, and it was great to hear the reactions to what we had to offer.
Awesome. I didn't know that you were the only female band there, so that probably was a little bit intimidating.
Yeah, definitely.
I see that you guys are on Spotify. You guys have a YouTube channel, which I checked out today. Tell me, what can we expect next from you guys?
Definitely expect more. I wouldn't say that it'll be super soon, as our schedules are definitely pretty busy. But definitely expect more music, some acoustic stuff. It's going to be good.
Good stuff. So Kaylin, she's not here, but she did ask me for you to tell me a little bit about you guys' friendship, as it wasn't always so pretty.
Yes. So we actually met through PetSmart a couple years ago. We worked together, and I honestly we just did not get along. I couldn't stand her, she couldn't stand me. But actually a year ago, I accepted Jesus into my life, and after that I was changed, and I had a completely new perspective on who she was, and really accepted her as my friend. So after that we kind of just hit it off and started writing music.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Well, I guess I have one final question for you guys. With this new band, can you tell me how you guys got interested into creating this band?
How we got interested? Well, she's always been interested in music, and so have I. And she was constantly looking for the right fit to her style, I guess, and for her music. And then she heard me sing, and she was like, you're it. You're the one that I want to be my lead singer in my band. So that's kind of how it all, I guess, went down. We just knew we were kind of meant to be bandmates. So.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. And
Thank you.
I wish you the best of luck for the
Thank
future.
you.
Thank you all for watching this. We will now swing it over to Cam Durr with this week's sports update.
I'm Cam Durr with this week's sports update. The Wasps were busy over the spring break. Softball team went 2-2 on the week, winning the first two games against the University of Rochester 10-0 and 8-7 by way of pinch hit walk-off by sophomore Alex Thomas, then dropping both games to Emory University 7-4 and 2-1. The baseball team dropped their conference record to 3-14 after dropping to Shenandoah Methodist, North Carolina Wesleyan in extra innings, as well as Randolph-Macon, but getting a win at home against Mount Aloysius 9-6. The women's tennis team went on a winning streak, blanking William Peace 9-0 on Wednesday, then traveling to Knoxville to beat Ohio Christian 8-1, and finally ending the week shutting out Johnson University 9-0. The men's tennis team also went 3-0 on the week, beating William Peace 6-3 and defeating Ohio Christian and Johnson University by a score of 9-0 on the road. Congratulations to Taylor Blevins of the women's basketball team for being named an honorable mention All-American by Women's Basketball Association. Coming up, the Wasp softball team will host Roanoke College tomorrow for an ODAC matchup. First pitch of the doubleheader is set for 3 p.m., then travel to EMU on Saturday to take on the Royals. The baseball team will have Ferrum at home Wednesday at 3 and will also hit the road for a doubleheader against Virginia Wesleyan on Saturday. The men and women's tennis team will host Randolph College this Saturday and will head to Roanoke on Sunday with hopes of continuing their winning streak. That's all for this week's sports update. I'm Cam Durr.
Hello, everyone. I'm Luke Maltabano. Joining with me today is assistant men's and women's golf coach Brent Treash. Coach, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, Luke.
No problem. So you were part of the program before they cut in 2008. What was your take when they decided to bring it back after they cut it?
You know, actually, when I left Emory and Henry and graduated in 2001, I didn't even know the golf program ever went away. So when I actually got hired in September of 2010, one of my first questions I had was, how can I get involved with the golf program? And so when they told me that there wasn't a golf program, I was really let down. So when we brought the golf program back, I was excited because finally I saw us investing in a sport that I thought could really succeed at Emory and Henry.
Yeah, so obviously we've had some coaching changes here, but now we're pretty settled on Coach Menino. What do you think of the job he's doing trying to build this program up and heading the program in the right direction?
I think we got extremely lucky to get Coach Menino. He comes from a great background coaching at Temple, also coaching in the ODAC at Hollins. So he understands the landscape of our conference. He understands women's golf, which is a big part since he is the men's and women's coach. And he's come in right away, and I think he's really instilled a foundation of how serious we're taking this sport, because when I played here in the late 90s and early 2000s, the golf program really was just an assistant football coach driving us to a tournament, oftentimes sleeping in the van while we were out there playing. That's not what it is now. We're a very competitive program. We expect to win. We're trying to do everything we can to be as successful as we can on the course. And I think Coach Menino is the foundation of that. I think he understands what it takes to be a winner. And that's what he's going to strive to. And I think he's really invested in the program for the long haul. So I think, though, it might have been rocky the first couple of years as the reformation was taking place. I think where we've settled at is better than we could have ever hoped.
Yeah. So obviously you played here and you decided to come back and try to help the program. Like, what led you to the decision to come back and try to help the program you were once part of?
I think it was the opportunity to see the program be what I had hoped it was when I was a student here. You know, I wanted to do something to give back to Emory and Henry, of course. I really valued my time here. And golf was something that's always been a part of my life. And one of the reasons I came back to Emory and Henry was to be more involved with student athletes in particular. So the opportunity to get out on the golf course, a place I'd love to be, and to instill the little wisdom I have when it comes to golf, it's been really a match made in heaven. I've enjoyed the time of getting to know both the men's and women's golfers. So when I saw that opportunity, I said, you don't have to pay me, just let me come out there and be a part of the team, and it's really worked out well.
Yeah, we're very lucky to have you, and the team obviously came back from Myrtle Beach from a training trip, and for men's played one competitive round, the women's played 2 competitive rounds. What did you see from the team as everyone was developing their skills competitively and on the driving range and chipping and putting green?
I think that we saw that people are really identifying the areas that they need the most work on. And that's really one of the big parts of getting better, is that you have to understand what your weaknesses are and try to turn those into strengths. So we saw people trying to do things that they've maybe struggled and stayed away from in past seasons. So I think we saw a lot of improvement. I think that we saw people that maybe weren't as good around the green, spending a lot of time over in the chipping area and working on some different things. And I think one of my favorite things was seeing other golfers help their teammates. I would be on the range maybe watching somebody swing, and I'd look down at the practice screen and somebody was giving some golf tips to one of their teammates. And I think that was important because this trip was just as much about bonding. I mean, we're busy as student athletes, so oftentimes we don't get to spend that much controlled time together. So we had almost 5 full days together, and I think just as a team, building that culture, something that hasn't been there over the last few years, I think that was probably the most successful thing we saw come out of this trip.
Yeah. So obviously everyone on the team's been improving, like stroke average, but one standout improvement is obviously Wesley Jones. Wesley's had 2 medalist finishes, a bunch of top 5s, top 10s. You just talk about the hard work he's put in, like what you've seen from him as a coach.
Really Wesley is gone from a guy that in his freshman year, I can remember that he had a string where he was making 11s on holes. So, we get to the point where, he's really hitting the ball solid. So at this point, Wesley is just working really hard. He's hitting the ball as well as I've ever seen him hit it. If he starts making a few more putts, we might have a person that could be really contending for an ODAC championship.
Yeah, it's certainly been fun to watch him play, but obviously, how about the competitiveness? Obviously, when I first came here, the lineup was pretty set, but now the lineups are fluctuating. We don't know who's going to be the 4th. We don't know who's going to be 5. Can you just talk about the competitiveness on this team, what you've seen?
Yeah, you start 5 golfers, and right now, it's pretty wide open. I mean, I think Wesley has, kind of distanced himself a little bit at the top of the lineup, but from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, those golfers are all kind of interchangeable at this point. I think that as we build towards the ODAC championships in late April, there's no way I'd even try to venture a guess at who will be in that lineup, because I think if some people just make a couple of strokes improvement, they could find themselves in Greensboro when we're competing for an ODAC championship. So it's nice to have that depth. It's nice to get people different experience out there on the course in competitive settings. And I think a lot of people are getting opportunities to really prove themselves and earn that starting lineup spot.
Yeah, I guess one final question before I let you go is, what do you want to see from this team for the last part heading into the spring season? Obviously, we haven't played our best, like trying to be competitive and trying to grind out some tournament wins heading into ODACs.
I'm really happy with how the team has come together. But one of the things that I oftentimes say to people is that we just have to get better. I think we have the potential to be a top 5 team in the ODAC right now, but you have to do it. You have to do it on the course. And that's the things that we're preaching, is that when we tee it up and it's under tournament conditions, we have to be able to go out there and excel. And right now, in the past, sometimes we haven't played up to our potential. I want to see us play up to our potential and maybe even go beyond that to shoot some of our best scores in some of the most meaningful times. So doing it on the course in competition, that's what I want to see for the rest of this season.
All right. Well, again, that's all the time we're going to have for this interview. Coach, thanks for coming on.
You're welcome, Lucas.
Thank you. So that'll do it for this week's interview. I'm Luke Montalbano. Let's throw it over to this week's community calendar.
Great interview. Brent's always really impressive, and you know me being a Lamb and him being our advisor. He has a special place in my heart. So.
Yeah, he's certainly done a lot for this college on the golf course and for the Lambs and just for athletics. He's certainly done a lot, and that was a great interview. I didn't know we had she had a band Undercurrents. Might have to give them a listen.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's good stuff. It's really interesting to see like all of the things that they're involved with, especially as a new band. So I'm looking forward to see the new stuff that they have to come. So
Me too.
yeah. All right, guys, that does it for today's show. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Emory Henry TV.
Or Facebook and Twitter at EHCTV. Tag us or follow the hashtag EHCTV to join the conversation.
Until next time, Emory, stay classy.